Hello everyone, this is QG, and I thought I would do a commented run because a lot of you have asked me for it. So here it is. We are basically playing S2 metacomp. We have a Shadow Priest and Augmentation Evoker. There are 4 premates, and Shadow Priest only has 2 sets, but he managed to really play very well. We are going to Bloodlust the first pull because we want to have Bloodlust back for second boss, as the first boss is very easy even though it's Tyrannical. So I'm pre-evocating, trying to get my charges up here, and then just the basic AoE rotation. You might notice I am proccing a lot here, and I'm not spending my clear casting procs until I have no charges, because Barrage with Orb Barrage is still doing much more damage in AoE than focusing on your 2 set and your 4 set. That being said, on the right side here you can see that I am tracking both my 2 set and my 4 set, and on the left side I'm tracking Arcane Tempo, which is the haste buff you get when you consume Arcane Barrage, and I'm trying to keep up all 3 buffs at all times, at least in AoE. It's a bit harder than what we used to play in S2, but you get used to it. So I have my mini burn for this pull, knowing that the boss is the next pull. I wouldn't want to commit more than a mini burn to this pull, so that I can engage a Tyrannical boss with my full CDs. Right now you see I have my 4 set ready, but I'm not spending it until I get it clear casting proc. I have my 2 set completely stacked up, I have 5 stack of it, you can see that on the left side. And basically I'm just trying to keep up the 2 set buff, trying to have my 4 set ready whenever. Now since there's only 1 mob left, I'm switching to my single target rotation, and I'm just consuming the clear casting procs, doing the filler rotation basically that you might see on other guides. What I'm aiming for here is, even though I can burn all my mana, it's not a problem because I have evocation ready for next pull, and as you can see I'm not doing any more damage here because I want to hold my clear casting proc so that I can refresh my 2 set, get my 4 set proc right before the beginning of the pull. So as you can see here, I'm using the clear casting now. It refreshed my 2 set bonus, so I'm at 10% extra spell damage. I have my 4 set proc ready, so right after my Radiant Spark debuff runs out, I can instantly press it. I forgot to press my trinket here, but that's not a problem. It's, you know, this was a mistake from my part. Where this my trinket is ready on the right side, Balefire Branch, and I didn't use it. But I'm just doing basically the rotation that you would see in all guides, which is consuming the Radiant Spark debuffs with Arcane Blast. And then there's a priority list. You have Nether Precision Arcane Blasts, followed by clear casting Arcane Missiles that you want to clip. So basically you don't want to end the cast, you want to finish the cast early, but only if you don't proc 4 sets. So right now that was clear casting Arcane Missiles with 4 sets, so I'm doing the full cast of it. Here I'm just a bit focused on surviving. I'm out of CDs, and outside of CDs Arcane doesn't do that much damage, so I'm just focused on surviving. That's why I wasn't casting there for 2 seconds, and it's because I'm also not very used to the bosses. I think this was the 3rd or 4th time I've done Blackrock Hold, so I was a bit more focused on mechanics. But you should always try to keep casting as much as possible. As you can see here, my 4 set is ready, but I'm holding it because I know that the ads are coming, and the ads are pretty hard to kill. So I know I have enough time to refresh my 2 set. As you can see, I did it right now, and that 4 set proc really did a lot of damage to the soul. And I'm just trying not to use my CDs here because, you know, it would be a waste if I would use Evocation and Arcane Power right now. I would say Arcane kind of sucks for this phase. You have to single target, you know, the ads or whatever. You can see my weapon is ready, Iridial I think it's called. So I think I should have used it here. Okay, I pressed it but it died already. And now I'm using CDs again. The priest has CDs as well, so I'm going to get PI in the middle of my CDs. My 2 set is still stacked up. I managed to not lose the 2 set buff during the whole duration of this. I can see that the boss is under 35%, so my weapon, which is ready, I'm gonna try to use it at the end of my Arcane Power. That is exactly when I use it, to not, you know, get the full global south during Arcane Power, which is a very short cooldown. I mean, the buff is very short, that's what I meant. So I just used it one global later because I know I'm not gonna get 2 uses of the weapon in this one run. And I'm using my mini burn here, even though the boss is almost dead, because I know there's a lot of RP and walking after this, so I'm gonna get my big burn ready for the next pull. As you can see, my 4 set is procced. My 2 set is gonna run off in 6 seconds. But I'm holding my clear casting proc so I can refresh it at the end here. So there you go, I refreshed the 2 set, and now I'm just fishing for more clear casting procs. I'm just sending a message telling them that the priest is doing a lot of damage, because I've never seen a priest actually do damage yet in keys. So as you can see here, yeah, he said he doesn't even have 4 piece. I'm just trying to keep up my 2 set as much as possible. As you can see, it didn't proc, and I'm like, come on, can it please proc, because I don't want to do this pack without it. So I'm just pressing my bloodlust for myself here, and evocating. I thought the tank would go up with the other, you know, with the small boss, but since it's not, well, I'm just doing my AoE rotation here. Press my force at once. The evocation buff is kind of running off, but I'm not pressing arcane power because I know we're going up to this, and we went for it. And you see there's 13 seconds on my evocation, and okay, they're a bit distinct with how long arcane power is, but it's not the worst thing ever. I managed to get my full burst out when both evocations uptime and arcane powers uptime were there, and here I'm just focused on, you know, doing as much damage during those spots as I can. My 2 set is gonna run off, so luckily it procced off Dragon's Breath there, and I managed to refresh it last second. I feel like 20 seconds is really not a lot, but it is what it is. Using shifting power on cooldown, of course, so now I can get into my mini burn and, you know, just rotate burst phases one after the other. I'm waiting for the Radiant Spark debuff to proc, to end before pressing my 4 set, because I don't want to waste the Radiant Spark basically, because if I do Radiant Spark and then use my 4 set with the clear casting, then it's gonna be the missiles that are gonna get buffed, which is really not recommended, because you only get out 4 missiles, and, well, I mean, Arcane Blasts buffed by 40% can be really good. So right now you can see my big burn is coming up. I'm trying to get my 4 set to, my 2 set up. I have 10 seconds of it. But I think I'm not even going into my CDs because I want to refresh my 2 set yet. But I just gave up on it. I thought, you know, it's not gonna get refreshed. And I just refreshed it there, even though I wasted Radiant Spark. I don't know if that's a good thing to do, but I prefer to do it because I know my 4 set is coming, and look how much damage comes out when you can do your 4 set with CDs. I thought this was much more worth it to be able to do a 4 set with Arcane Power up, Evocation up, and the 2 set fully stacked, instead of losing the 2 set and fully beneficiating of the Radiant Spark debuff. So I just chose to sacrifice basically the Radiant Spark instead of sacrificing the 2 set. That was the choice I had to do. I should have played short Blast Wave in this key, but I still have it from Sanguine last week, so, you know, that is a mistake. You can find, of course, links to, you know, all my gear, all my talents, the run itself, my Radar.io, my Discord, my UI, my weak auras, everything in the description below of this video, so please look out for that. So as you can see here, I dumped my mini burn earlier, basically on cooldown. You just want to rotate your cooldowns as much as possible, just never or very rarely hold them. This is a 23, but it's still pretty low key in the sense that ads still die very fast, so sometimes you might not be able to get out your full set of CDs, and that's normal as Arcane. I'm trying to refresh my stack, but look at this. So my 2 set is ready, and I see there's 2 seconds left, and on the last second I managed to use my 4 set to not let it run off. That was very satisfying. So everything was stacked up. I managed to not lose my 2 set. I managed to use the 4 set proc. That was absolutely great. There's also a thing you can do. So basically your 4 set, the buff that's the proc that you get for you know, the 4-set, is not the same as the stacks of the 4-set. So right now you see Arcane Artillery is ready, but I can farm other 4-set stacks. So you can basically, if you're farming enough clear casting procs, you can have 2 4-set clear casting missiles in a row. But it's very rare to do, and I didn't manage to do it in this dungeon at all. But I just wanted to mention it. I might even do a video about it. I was not really sure what to focus here. I thought I would focus one archer down, so then he could just stack the big mob on the other archer. Also, as you can notice here, I'm cancelling the affix very often. I'm cancelling it with just Prismatic Barrier, because I'm playing Energized Barrier, I think it's called, the name of the talent, which makes snares and roots, I mean, it removes snares and roots when you use Prismatic Barrier. So I strongly recommend you playing that talent this week. That is a frontal, so yeah, of course, dodge that. And now we have Bloodlust ready and all CDs, even my 4-set is procced, so... Oh, and my 2-set procced again. So I'm pressing Bloodlust, evocating, holding my clear casting proc so I can be sure to have one when my Radiant Spark develops are over. Fully casting those Arcane Missiles, but clipping those because those are without a 4-set. Next one is with a 4-set, so fully casting it. Basically that's it. 2 Arcane Blasts, 1 Arcane Missiles, and you clip the Arcane Missiles, which means you cut short the cast to go into Arcane Blast again, unless it's from a 4-set. And then you just keep casting it until the end. And I did, I don't know, about 500k burst there. This was with an Augmentation Evoker, I know, but I've already managed to do 600k single target burst with Bloodlust without an Augmentation Evoker in the group. So if you do your rotation properly, Arcane has a very high potential of burst in single target. Here I'm kind of switching into the AoE rotation because there's 3 targets and we don't have a prior target here. I would say we want to damage the boss as much as possible, we want to damage the ads as much as possible, so I'm just focusing the low one. And now since there's only 2 targets left, I should switch into the single target rotation. I just had an orb up again, but I'm more focused on not dying to this beam because again, I haven't done these bosses many times, so I didn't know how long it was, etc. So yeah. And I can see these again, so I just tried to press them. I lost my 2-set there, but I made the decision to this time try to go without it. My trinket came ready mid CDs. You're gonna see Balefire Branch doesn't line up perfectly with your CDs because it has a 1 minute 30 CDs, and well, your CDs are 1 minute 30 as well, but they get reduced with shifting power. So you might not get it for every use of CDs. That's why our BIS this season is double on use. I don't have the mirrors trinket yet, and I'm not raiding, so there's no way for me to, to get raiding trinkets. I mean, early on at least. But yeah, so you see I have another weak cry in the middle, literally middle of my screen for the proc of the passive trinket that I play, which is a crit proc. I was just curious to see how often it procs, and it doesn't proc that often, so I think it's just good because the item level is high and it has a main stat basically, and I don't have any other on use. But yeah. Now you see I'm holding my clear casting proc because my next clear casting proc is going to proc Arcane Artillery, which is my 4-set. It's gonna refresh my 2-set. So there you go, I did it now, close to the end. Now I had to dodge these balls while continuing to fish for procs. I'm using Evocation here to start my CDs as early as possible. I think I should have used my clear casting proc there, but I just consumed it my 4-set now to dump as much damage as possible. I guess my Radiant Spark didn't do much, but as you can see, it's not really a problem. I pressed my trinket mid CDs because that's when it came up, and that was fine as well. And as you can see, you still do a lot of damage here, even though you don't do your rotation perfectly, which is the case for what I did, because I preferred to use my 4-set instead of utilizing Radiant Sparks debuff. And I get my mini burn for this phase. So yeah, that was a mistake. I did 2 barrages in a row, and I'm not getting any clear casting procs, so I just lost my 2-set buff. I think they need to make it longer or something, but I'm losing my 2-set all the time. Whenever you go into the AoE rotation, you kind of just do orbs and barrages, and both of those really proc clear casting missiles very little, or they don't proc them at all. I'm not even sure. So it's a fine art between using orb barrages and arcane explosions to proc for clear casting procs. I mean to fish for clear casting procs. So right now you see I have my CDs ready. I thought he was gonna pull more, but he's not, so I'm just fully signing my CDs here. I have my force ready, everything is ready, so I was like, whatever. I lost it as well, I just sent it. And yeah, not my force set. Swapping targets because everything is dead. And I'm not using my... Oh, I did use my weapon. I thought I was not gonna use it, but I did. So imagine a pool where you have, let's say, your mini burn or your big burn, doesn't matter, and you've done your radiant spark rotation, so it's AoE, right? So you just do barrage or barrage. But let's say you didn't proc a lot. So let's say you only have 1 orb left, and you still have like 6 seconds left on Touch of the Magi. What you want to do is, if your 2-set is running off, don't use Arcane Orb to generate charges instantly and burst fast, but you want to instead use Arcane Explosion to just fish for that clear casting proc, and if you don't get it, you go for Orb afterwards. So instead of going, this is assuming you don't proc at all, yeah? Instead of going barrage, orb, barrage, orb, barrage, and then Arcane Explosion to fill your charges and then barrage again, you do barrage, orb, barrage, and if you don't proc here, you start doing Arcane Explosions here to refresh your 2-set if it's falling off, and if you don't have Radiant Spark debuff on your target. So then you refresh your Arcane charges with that, and you don't lose the 2-set, and you just use the orb afterwards. So you get same use of orbs in the same Touch of the Magi cooldown. As you can see here, I'm just trying to CD as early as possible. I refreshed my 2-set. This is what I'm talking about. I used Arcane Explosion there to refresh my 2-set instead of using Arcane Orb to refresh my charges. And this way I managed to get my 2-set for the whole duration of my burst, and it was, I mean, 10% on 1.2 million burst. It means the fact that I managed to keep my 2-set up was literally 120k DPS increase. So I think it's pretty relevant compared to using an extra orb earlier. And now it's just a filler rotation. And also have my force set ready, which is very nice. I'm just doing my single target rotation because there's only this big mob ready. And as you can see, I use mass shield for everyone, and also to reduce my to remove the affix. And here my BCs are coming up, and this mob has 13 million HP. So what I decided is just to press them. I was afraid this was gonna take too long if I just hold. So I just decided to press because Arcane CDs are pretty short. I even used my trinket, everything. Because I really wanted this mob to die as fast as possible and then engage the boss. I don't think this is a really hard boss. If you play it correctly, even on Tyrannical, even if it's 23, we should have been able to do it, right? Again, I try to fish for 2-set proc so I can refresh it, and I get PI of course from the priest, which sends his CDs, even though I don't get any. Even though I don't have any. So yeah, I should have maybe used the defensive there. Watch out, this apparently hurts, especially since I don't have much Versa, but it does hurt even with 18% Versa. You can see my stats on the left side of the screen.
Knocking back.
And here I'm kind of just looking for, there you go, there it is, for a clear casting proc so I can refresh my 2-set before going into CDs. And I decided here not to press Bloodlust because I saw that the Bloodlust cooldown is on 70 seconds. That means that if we just Bloodlust on cooldown, when it comes up, it's gonna be with my next set of CDs and with Priest CDs. So I thought it might be better if I just hold my own Bloodlust to stack both Bloodlusts, because as you know, you can just press Bloodlust twice and it stacks up. And apparently this was a very good choice for me, because the tank got disconnected and we wiped here. And I was like, no problem. Well, I just invest here because I didn't want to die and eat and everything. But right now, the tank just got reconnected, so we wiped here because of his DC, and we can go again with Bloodlust, which is actually pretty nice. As you can see, I'm just trying to get my 2-set up, to keep it up for when the tank is coming back. I'm kind of writing here, so I'm not fishing for procs, because, you know, this is just a proc group, so I don't know. And I managed to get my clear casting proc last second, so I'm just fishing for procs until everybody's here. So as you can see, everybody rezzed. I'm still trying to get my 2-stack to be up, and I'm fishing for this proc that just doesn't want to come, and I have 5 seconds left. I Bloodlust just to get my proc faster, and I managed to get it. And now I just generate my charges before CDing, trying to not to forget to press all my buttons, which is, you know, my potion, my trinket, everything. And you just do the rotation that you can see in different guides. I recommend Toe Grinder's written guide on the Mage Hub. I recommend Phosphorus's video guide. I don't have time to do a guide yet. I thought the commented run might be better because there's so many guides which are already out about Arcane. But please let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing a guide actually from me, knowing that there are already some. Here I again tried to get my 2-stack and my 2-set and my 4-set ready for my mini burn. This is basically all I'm focused on because the filler rotation is pretty straightforward. There's not that much to think about. And as you can see, I'm having mana issues. I have 48% mastery almost, and I still have mana issues in single target. This is also because I'm getting PI, so on double Bloodlust and PI you are going to burn your mana much more. So I haven't found the solution for this. Maybe you want to delay your Bloodlust for your second set of CDs.
Target you.
But in any case, I'm having mana issues, as you can see. I just invest here and now I'm using Evocation. I'm hoping to get my... I think I just abandoned my 2-set here. I'm like, I have 3 seconds left. There's no way for me to get a clear casting proc in time. So I just went for the rotation. And I was out of range here. So my Radiant Spark just fell off. All my bursts just basically faded away. So that was a bit of a mistake from my part. I didn't even notice where the boss was. I was too focused on not dying and mechanics. Again, this is because I haven't done this dungeon a lot. I've done it 3 or 4 times prior to this. And the boss has 12 million HP, as you can see. So I'm just sending my mini burn, knowing that you know, I'm probably gonna have my big burn afterwards for the pool right after.
Spread. Knocking back.
Also using the new healing potion, but not the one with the healing, the one with the dot, so that heals you for like 750k, but then leaves the dot behind, because I'm maxed out in Decayology and Alchemy, so I take less damage from those. As you can see here, same story. I'm just trying to keep my 2 set up. And it's staying up, as you can see. I just consumed it with my 4 set then because it was in AoE, and as you can see, my 4 set did 1.5 million damage without any CDs on. So 4 set even in AoE is so strong. 1 global with 1.5 million damage is a lot. And since I have a clear casting ready here, I'm just going for my AoE rotation until almost my 2 set falls off, and then I just do an Arcane Explosion to reset it, to refresh it. So I know we have 2 more packs until the boss, which is perfect because it means I sent my big burn there, and now I can just shift in power and use my small burn in this, and then I'll have my CDs for boss on pull. I wish we could have 100 stacks of ice flows, but it's not the case. As you can see here, I have an orb ready, but again, I'm just using my Arcane Explosion to refresh my 2 set buff. I really value this 2 set a lot. I think this is not a mistake to not let it fall off, because this is literally 10% spell power forever, and if not, it takes so much time to build up again. It takes, you know, 5 clear casting procs consumed, which is like a lot of time because you gotta proc them first. I've seen some questions about maybe not playing Radiant Spark anymore and playing I don't remember the name of the talent, but there's one which makes clear casting have a 5% increased chance of proccing, and there's 2 nodes on it, so you can get it up to 10%. But I'm still playing Radiant Spark for now because that's what every guide is saying. I fucked up here because I didn't see the healer has no mana, so I popped Evocation and then I'm just waiting basically. This is the problem with playing with PoVs as well, right? You don't really know exactly when you pull, you're not on voice, so it is what it is. But I still have 15 seconds of Evocation when I pop my Arcane Surge. As you can see, my Arcane Surge and my Evocation are pretty lined up. And I'm sending my single target full CDs here, my big burn, because the boss had 25 million HP. And the time in between this boss dying and the, you know, P2 starting and us getting the damage buff is, I think, the same time as it takes me to do 1 rotation of big CDs. So I used my big CDs there, my big burn. I'm having my small burn in 2 seconds. I'm just waiting 1 global here to be sure that I can use my Barrage and Touch of the Magi while Barrage is in the air thing, because Touch of the Magi had 2 seconds left when I did Radiant Spark. So as you can see, I have 30 seconds left, there's some RP, the boss is gonna trigger, and here you don't wanna burst instantly, because you get a 300% damage buff, but it doesn't come right away. It comes in 20 seconds. You can see the timer, sorry, 27 seconds. You can see the timer on the bottom left of my screen from my DBM. So now we just focus the... See, now we got the debuff, and now we have the damage buff. So you don't want to damage a lot, you don't want to press your big CDs before this phase. And now you still don't want to press them because the boss is just going away in a few seconds. So you get the damage buff, 10 seconds later the boss goes in the phase that he's going in right now. So here I'm just fishing for my clear casting proc so I can refresh my 2 set, which is at 5 stacks, but you know, maybe just it's gonna fall off or something. I'm using Evocation just so I can be able to do more Arcane Explosions here. And I also use Bloodlust, and I managed to get my clear casting proc to refresh it. So right now I'm all set with my Bloodlust CDs, Priest PI, everything soon, with 300% damage buff. But unfortunately, I get this swarm right here, which you know, is really unfortunate to get at on your CDs with Bloodlust and everything. I would have pumped the boss otherwise. I think I could have invised it, but I just wasn't quick enough, sorry. So you can press invisibility and then it just goes on another target during the cast, not after the swarm has already spawned. Yeah, now I'm just, you know, trying to get a clear casting proc. And I again abandoned Radiant Spark because it was a mini burn and I just want to keep my 2 set up. See, I used that potion which healed me for a lot. Yeah.
Watch your step. Keep moving.
And basically that's it. Now the phase comes again, so you know I have CDs in 20 seconds, so I'm trying to fish for my clear casting proc here, and then evocation again. This is how it's gonna line up for the whole boss fight, basically. And there you go, my clear casting proc came. If you have any questions, guys, please, you know, let me know in the comments below. I was super unlucky because my invis was late here, so the mob still spawned on me. As you can see, I cannot cast my Arcane Surge, so I just went for a mini burn without Arcane Surge while the mob was still alive. We managed to kill the boss. I hope you enjoyed this run. Again, please ask me any questions if you have in the comments below, and remember, most of the links that you're looking for are in the description of this video, so please check those out. See you on the next one, guys. Thank you.
I see now we may rest, safe in the knowledge that heroes still live, who will defend our